Weapon types are a really big issue in Elden Ring, and one of the things you can plan around is when you're against certain kinds of enemies, in particular ones that are covered in rocks, you use the right weapon. And so this is an example of using the wrong weapon. So this is a standard pierce thrusting, and you see how I bounce back. Takes three hits to kill it, and I open myself up to get smacked. And this is the same against all giant rock bosses. Thrusting type weapons, piercing type weapons, standard piercings, are ineffective. Now, not necessarily like you can't kill them. One of the things you can do is critical strikes with standard pierce, normal swords, normal slash as well. Slash is also incredibly ineffective. So let's grab a slash. Have I got any? Yeah, here's a great one. So the slash. Oh. It's not that you can't kill them, it just takes a long time. And this is something that does frustrate me when I watch people play and they go, oh, it's alright. And then they take ages, they just rely on backstabs, and they take a long time to kill these rock people. These miners. So what you need to do, during any playthrough, using, say, the samurai sword, you need to have a secondary weapon. So you just need to have another weapon that is a striking weapon. So striking weapons have... What's a good one? One that isn't so incredibly overpowered. So here we go. Just a flail will do. You just need one striking weapon just to make the game easier for you, especially against these dudes. Notice how I don't bounce back. This one isn't upgraded, and I'm in Atlas Tunnel, so this is a higher level area. But because the striking weapons are incredibly effective, they make it easy. Easy peasy. So when I see people struggling using, they've got plus 12 or 13 or whatever weapon, and they struggle with these rock guys, it is a really annoying thing. So I just... Pierce is less effective, but is effective. But I'll show you just a... almost maxed upgraded... These little fists here. Alright, he gets up. Like butter. Like a hot knife through butter. Oh, getting summoned. Alright. It's getting pretty awkward. So yeah, strike weapons against rock enemies. And this can be the star beasts as well. Heavily armored enemies. What am I doing here? Okay. Okay. So just a good, I think an important tip, that there are different weapon types. Each weapon does matter. Oh, the host is dead. They are so dead. Oof, that's not good. Yeah, that happens too. It has less effect on PvP. So again, it's not something you need to worry about too much in PvP. So just... So yeah, as you're playing through the game, maybe you're a first timer, maybe not. There are some exceptions. So in the case of the mining guys, I do want to point out this exception because it is important. They are weak to magic or any kind of element, really. So here's a good example. So this Cypher Pato is, it's maxed out. So I do want to be, realistic in that regard. Could be upgraded more, but... So it just does massive damage. Because it's faith. So this is a pure faith weapon. So I will cut through the rocky enemies because it is magical. It's that kind of thing. So just be aware of that. Anything else I need to point out? Strike weapon. So it's in the second category. So underneath the name, or the third one. So you got the name Hoslo pedal whip, the class, which is the whip, and then the damage type, which is strike. So strike is effective against rocks. Slash pierce is effective against flesh. And so like big wolves, the big red wolf of the academy. Pierce, it's okay. I mean, it does a little bit more damage than slash against, say, rock enemies, but it's not. It still bounces off. So again, you're going to do it with colossal weapons. You'll have great strike damage. You better stagger things a lot easier with strike weapons. They do stagger better. Again, depends on how much you upgrade your weapon and how many charged hits you're getting in. And so they're generally slower swinging, the strike weapons, except for the fists, of course. Anything else? Standard is sort of a all around, but again, they can be not effective against rock because it's still it's a great axe. It's still trying to slice really, so it's really a slash standard. But most things have double, so they are slash pierce or standard pierce. Don't worry about that too much. It's sort of they're still not effective as a striking weapon. So you still need to have, for an easy playthrough, both. You have your main weapons against you can use against most bosses, and then you've got a striking weapon. You need to have just one. My recommendation for a simple one to have with you is a flail. So the Knight Rider's flail is a great example because it's not hard to get, and in this case I've put a bunch of stuff on it. So it actually comes with Bloodloss and I've added Frost. It was within a cult. Oh, the whole of this thing. So yeah, so that one's good. There's also Bastard Stars, but that's not as big a one. And you can get an easy flail early, and you can also get the mace. So the mace is a good one to have just early on for when you go in the tunnels. You're collecting your smithing stone shards, stones. So yeah, strike weapons make the game a lot easier. I see people struggling, and it just sort of boggles my mind that they don't get that striking weapons are so effective against rock enemies. Now this is the same for the spinny ladies. So the rock bosses, the what are they called? Crystal rock bosses, ladies. So the ones who one of them has the big spinning weapon, and one of them has the stabbing spear with scarlet rod on it. The striking weapons melt them. So, but the alternative to that is you don't have to melt them with the striking. You can just with the slash, you can just keep backstabbing until they break their armor. So that's one of the things you can do. So it's not like you there are ways around it, but they just take a lot longer. So yeah, keep that in your mind as you play the game. You can always just grab some fists. Spike Seeds are so easy to get. Get in there and start punching. Alright then. It's been Frosty510 with a educational video on strike damage on the weapon damage types and physical weapon damage types. And yeah, I hope this is helpful for those that are struggling with big rock enemies. Yeah, the pierce is supposedly go better against dragons, but you can argue whatever. I won't worry about that part of it. Alright, like and subscribe. Bye bye.